On the news are tonight, troops rescue 16 female kidnapped victims in Katsina. Organized labor issues 14-day strike ultimatum to the federal government over non-implementation of agreements. Kano state government goes after traders hoarding commodities amidst economic crisis. On the foreign scene, 27 missing, 13 dead after Sudanese migrant ship sinks off Tunisian coast. Many thanks for joining us on Trust TV's News Hour. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. We begin in Katsina State, where troops of the Nigerian Army on Wednesday rescued 18 female kidnapped victims from their abductors and handed them over to the Katsina State government. The brigade commander, 17th Brigade of the Nigerian Army, Katsina, Brigadier General Oluremi Fadero, says the soldiers took the rescue operation to the bandits' enclaves at Yang Tumaki and Dan Ali Forest and successfully engaged the terrorists in a gun battle leading to the successful rescue of the victims. Fadero then added says the military handed over the victims to the State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Nasiru Muazu. He stressed the readiness of the Nigerian Army to continue to work for the restoration of permanent peace in Katsina State. Still staying in Katsina, the bandits who abducted women accompanying a bride to her matrimonial home in Damari, Sabwa local government area of Katsina State last Thursday have released a video showcasing the captives in custody of the kidnappers. Now, in the trending video on social media, the bandits issued threats asserting their intention to forcefully marry the already married woman to one of their members unless relatives of the captives pay the sum of 100 million naira ransom. Additionally, they declared their intention to sell off the 62 wedding guests who were kidnapped alongside the bride if their demands are not met. During the attack on the wedding convoy last Thursday, reports indicate that 4 members of the vigilante group were killed and approximately 55 wedding guests, including children, were abducted and have since been held hostage by the bandits, according to villagers. Well, our correspondent Abdullahi Ahmed in Katsina is standing by to give us update on some of these developing stories. Abdullahi Ahmed, thank you very much for joining us on the news. Let's get, first of all, an update on the rescue mission. 18 finally back and handed over to the Katsina State government. What more have we learned about this successful military operation? What have we learned about their perhaps success story in pushing back on some of the bandits' activities in those volatile areas?
Well, thank you very much for having me. This operation has further rekindled the hope of many Katsina residents who before now are seeing securities as just being reactive instead of being proactive. From what happened 2 weeks ago and last week, where the military rescued kidnapped victims from Matazu, Musawa, and Kankara, and then the 33 people from Tashwar Naguli in Batari local government who were rescued and hurt from bandits after a gun battle. People are beginning to see hope and praying for the security, especially the military officers who are leading the rescue operations. So exactly this is what is happening. People are beginning to restore hope, seeing the security operatives as doing what is necessary to secure the state.
Right. And as far as this rescue is concerned, how long have these captives been with the kidnappers or the bandits, as the case may be?
Well, the time they spent with the bandits differs because they were not rescued at the same time. According to the report, there were some victims who spent about 3 months with the bandits there. Some spent 2 weeks and some about 40 days with the bandits. So they were kidnapped or abducted separately, and they were rescued at the same time. So the time they were abducted differs honestly from place to place, because, like I said, those that were rescued recently from Matazu, Musawa, and of course Kankara, all of them were abducted separately. So the time differs.
And what does this successful military operation signpost, looking at the operations of the military in Katsina State that has been heavily impacted by the activities of these bandits?
Like I said, people are beginning to see hope. They are saying that more than ever before, the military and, of course, other security operatives are doing what is expected of them to make in making sure that the communities that were hitherto devastated are beginning to see that the securities are doing what is expected of them by securing the communities. And, of course, going by what is happening these days, there is synergy between the military, the police, and other security agencies here in Katsina. I think that is exactly what is bringing these success stories that we are seeing these days.
Right. And the Katsina State government has made it clear they're not going to pay ransom. And these villagers who are now dealing with this issue of insecurity for quite some time now are having to deal with their loved ones being taken by these bandits who are demanding hundreds of millions of naira. With regards to the abducted bride and her wedding convoy, give us a sense of what the mood is like now, knowing fully well that the government says it is not going to engage the bandits on ransom payments. What are the families, what are relatives saying regarding the hope around the return of their family members, especially given that the bandits have threatened to sell some of them and marry off the bride to one of their members?
Well, like you said, Gamsi is one of the, let's talk about Gamsi now, because it is the top of the town that their families have been abducted for quite a week. And, the village is one of the hard-reached communities in Savo local government. In fact, we have to use motorcycle to reach the community, and one has to pass through so many communities before reaching Gamji village. On reaching the community, the entire community looks so much deserted, with very few people we could find looking disturbed and devastated. In fact, we have to persuade too much to get them talk to camera during our visit. And it's like there is a serious fear and apprehension within communities. Now that the Katsina State government is saying that it is not willing and it will never pay ransom, and it is not willing to discuss or rather negotiate with bandits, the villagers are saying they have to resort to serious prayers for God's intervention to let them have their relatives back to their community.
Abdullah Ahmed, this is a story that continues to capture the imagination of the entire country, and I'm sure we'll learn more as soon as the story continues to develop. Thank you very much for the update and for the reporting.
So, thank you most sincerely.
Right. All right. Moving on to other security developments. Troops from the 93 Battalion under the 6th Brigade of the Nigerian Army in Taraba State have apprehended a notorious gun runner involved in illegal sales of arms and ammunition to criminal elements within the state and other parts of the country. The troops also arrested suspected female kidnapper while trying to collect a 1.5 million naira ransom for an abducted victim at Chanchangi area in Takum local government area of Taraba State. The female suspect is reportedly married to a notorious criminal linked to the syndicate. Spokesperson of the brigade, Lieutenant Oni Olubo Dunde, says the troops arrested the suspect named Joshua Duze Ida, who is age 45, at Ibi town of Ibi local government area of Taraba State while driving to Kaduna State with a vehicle. And the lieutenant later explains that on interrogation, Duce confessed that he was going to Katsina State to ferry AK-47 rifles, adding that he had already received payment of 300,000 naira. Elsewhere, the Oyo State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has called for improved vigilance and sustained efforts at ensuring that the January 16 explosion in Bodija, which resulted in the loss of lives and destruction of properties in Ibadan, does not reoccur. The State Commandant, Augustine Paduno, made the call in Ibadan while parading illegal miners who were arrested in Okeogun axis of the state. The commander urges residents to provide useful information to security agents to ensure collective tackling of crime and criminality across Oyo State.
The first arrested suspect, named Bandi Mohammed, was arrested on the Saturday, 3rd February 2024 at about 15:00 hours. Arrested at Fulani settlement, popularly called Budo Musa, under Iwajowa local government area of the state, by our crack squad stationed at the axis of Okeogun for allegedly dealing in mining activities at a neighboring community known as Dambo Zambai, Zamia village, in collaboration with suspected illegal miners, who is now at large without operation license.
Now, the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress have issued a 14-day ultimatum to the federal government of Nigeria over the non-implementation of the 16-point agreement, both agreed by the federal government and the organized labor following the removal of fuel subsidy. In a statement signed by leaders of the two labor unions, Joe Ajero and Festus Osifo, on Thursday, the organized labor expresses sadness that despite the passage of time, the quote, majority of the agreements remain unmet or negligibly addressed, indicating a blatant disregard for the principles of good faith, welfare, and rights of Nigerian workers and Nigerians, according to the statement. Now, the organized labor says it is giving the federal government 14 days starting from February 9th to February 14, 2024 to fulfill its part of the understanding with the labor unions. Now, the labor union says that the agreements which were reached with the federal government were focused on addressing the massive suffering and general harsh socioeconomic consequences of the hike in the price of PMS and the devaluation of the naira. It called on the federal government to honor its commitments without delay, adding that the time for empty promises and excuses has passed. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, has sworn in 12 of the 15 members elect who were presented certificates of return by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, on Wednesday. The 12 members won last Saturday's by-elections and court-ordered rerun elections to fill vacant seats in the House of Representatives. 4 political parties that include the APC, PDP, YPP and the Labour Party won the rerun and by-elections, while the elections into Jalingo Yoro Zing local federal constituency of Taraba State and Udenu federal constituency of Enugu are still outstanding. Now, the other 3 members who have collected their certificates of return from INEC will be inaugurated at a later date. The Speaker presented the new members copies of the House standing rules and the legislative agenda. With the new development, APC now has 188 members to maintain its majority in the House of Representatives. Staying with the House of Representatives, the Speaker of the House, Tajuddin Abbas, has acknowledged the concerns of Nigerians on the current state of the economy, security and other issues, assuring Nigerians of doubled efforts towards addressing their concerns. Speaking at a World Press Conference in Abuja, the Speaker of the House of Representatives noted that the conference was dedicated to addressing some of the most pressing national issues the country currently faces. The report.
The state of insecurity in Nigeria remains a significant concern, with various forms of violence plaguing different regions. The country has also been dealing with high levels of poverty, inequality, and human rights issues, including the abduction of children by militant groups. Speaker Tajuddin Abbas is using this medium to assure Nigerians that the House of Representatives is taking decisive steps to address the root causes of the challenges and also deploying both military and diplomatic resources to ensure the safety and security of all Nigerians. According to him, the challenges are complex and as such require patience and time to resolve.
The 2023 supplementary budget provided a 200 billion naira palliative package, mainly for grains, seeds, agricultural inputs, and equipment for farmers. This momentum has been sustained in the 2024 budget, which has significantly improved the budgetary allocations to all critical sectors of the economy, especially defense, healthcare, education, and infrastructure.
Abbas called on security agencies to diligently investigate allegations leveled against the Chief of Staff to the President, Bola Tinubu, Femi Gbajabiamila, who has been at the center of allegations of graft involving suspended Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Etta Edu. The Speaker pointed out that the allegations against Gbajabiamila are capable of undermining the nation's democracy.
Those of us who have worked with him for over a decade can attest to his patriotism and integrity, his willingness to voluntarily subject himself at this time to investigation by all the security and law enforcement agencies demonstrate his rectitude and honor. I urge the security agencies to work diligently and swiftly to investigate all matters he has raised in his letter to them and inform Nigerians of their findings.
He assured that the National Assembly will continue to support government's efforts in finding effective solutions to these challenges.
Well, still staying with developments in the National Assembly, the House of Representatives has urged the federal government to put on hold any proposed plan to recall the heads of chancery from Nigeria's foreign missions across the globe. Well, this was the resolution of a motion on the matters of national importance moved by Representative Umar Ajilo from Kaduna State. According to him, the recall of all Nigerian heads of chancery at a time when Nigeria has no ambassadors, having earlier withdrawn all ambassadors in the foreign missions, will give credence to the dangerous assertion of political instability in the country. Ruling on the motion, Speaker Abbas Tajuddin, who presided over the session, mandated the House Committee on Foreign Affairs to liaise with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs with a view to resolving all issues in respect of Nigeria's foreign missions and report back to the House for further legislative actions.
My dear colleagues, the House are aware of a current float or move to recall of all heads of chancery from all Nigerians' foreign missions abroad. Also aware that the head of chanceries are responsible to the higher commissioners, ambassadors who major functions including the general administrations of permissions which entail ensuring effective communications links between the headquarters and the rest of the world. Preparations of the missions, budget, secretary to the missions, tenders board, amongst others. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, considering the importance of role of the head of chanceries in Nigeria's foreign missions are highlighted above. To recall all Nigerians' head of chanceries at this time, Nigeria has no ambassadors. Having earlier withdrawn all ambassadors on her foreign missions will give credence to the dangerous assertions of a political instability back home that will be hazardous to Nigerian diplomatic relationship with other countries, and a huge disservices to Nigerians abroad who may need their services.
Now, a former lawmaker who represented Adamawa North Senatorial District in the Nigerian Senate, Elisha Abo, has been issued an ultimatum to establish his allegations against the president of the Court of Appeal, Justice Monica Dongbang Mensem, of receiving bribe or be prepared to face court action for false allegations. In the alternative, Senator Abo was directed to apologize to the Court of Appeal President, Justice Chioma Iheme, and the entire judiciary over the allegations of bribery. A senior advocate of Nigeria and former Attorney General of Akwa Ibom State insisted that the former senator must either be prepared for court action to establish his bribery allegations or tender apologies for making unsubstantiated allegations. He further notes that the former lawmaker has not produced any evidence to substantiate his allegations of bribery against the judiciary. On the 1st of February, Abo, in a press conference, accused the president of the Court of Appeal and others of taking bribes in the judgment that ousted him from office. This is the News Hour on Trust TV. Still to come. Bayelsa residents decry the hike in the price of sachet water. More on this and many other stories coming up ahead after the break.
We started manufacturing leather since 1958. But the most important thing is that if the system is checked correctly, we won't have where we are now.
If somebody has depression, they may just be very irritable and unproductive in the office. So you find on average already about 1 in 4, 1 in 5 Nigerians already have mental illness, a mental health condition that needs some form of attention.
No matter how good an economy is, if the federal government goes bust, believe me, everything in the economy is just a matter of time it will go bust. So first of all, about maybe slightly above, below 70% is in federal government securities.
If government has banned importation of fertilizer and states are doing it at the level of governance, but I believe that production and distribution of fertilizer should be left to the private sector.
This is the general multi-purpose card and it has a chip here. So this chip is about 80 kilobytes. The one that you get from the bank for ATM is just 4 kilobytes. So this is like 20 times.
This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story. Welcome back to the news and thank you very much for staying with us. Let's take another look at the top stories. Troops rescue 18 female kidnapped victims in Katsina. Organized labor issues federal government 14-day ultimatum on the state of the nation. Now, residents of Yenagoa, the Bayelsa state capital, are decrying the indiscriminate bush burning in the state capital and its impact on the environment. The residents who spoke to Trust TV say the rampant bush burning during the Harmattan season is causing great discomforts like difficulty in breathing for most residents, lowering visibility, and in some cases causing fire outbreaks. Friday, Ebimoboe Peter reports.
Stakeholders in Bayelsa State call on residents to stop bush burning for the safety of the people.
Everybody is crying. As I'm talking to you now, I'm feeling the pepperish situation in my nose, and my eyes are also running water. But now you might not be able to see it. To speak now, we have stepped into February. The Harmattan has finally surfaced. So we want to plead with our dwellers, those who are residing in Bayelsa State and beyond, that burning of bush is not really too good. There are so many dangers that impose. Those of us who are living should try to leave the bush burning and see how we can help ourselves, because when this bush burning keep coming, the smoke that we inhale is a threat to our lungs, it's a threat to our health, and it's a threat to the society.
The people where we get as Bayesians to understand that if you burn bush for night, for especially this Ramadan period, and you know they're there to monitor the bush, fire outbreak they happen. And when the fire outbreak happen, they'll come to blame devil. So once they burn bush, they try to contract everybody to the inside smoke. Now they make sometimes you go wake up early morning, you know, go the see person. The fog date once the weather don't clear, breeze go come they blow the fog then out. If not, if you wake up around 4 in the morning, can't look outside, you need to see anywhere because of the people they burn bush for night.
Some residents said people ignorantly set fire indiscriminately without considering the health, economic and agricultural implications. They call on the government to go on a massive sensitization to stop bush burning.
When you now burn bush, the atmosphere is polluted, and you can see the magnitude of pollution that's ongoing. Because if you burn a piece of land in Agodama, it will definitely get a place like a Keti and dam in Abua. Why? Because there are no boundaries in the atmosphere. So when a pollution is taking place, when atmospheric pollution is taking place, it becomes very massive because it's spread like a wildfire. So it is very unfortunate where we find ourselves that bush burning has become something that is now almost becoming a norm in every dry season. And we are becoming victims to respiratory diseases, we are becoming victims to fogginess, we are becoming victims to dizziness. In fact, a lot of this goes wrong. Because more particularly the respiratory aspect of it. People are being choked. The quality of the air is being reduced for human consumption and animals. So it has health implications, it has agricultural implications, and it has economic implications. So it's sadly that people are indulging in bush burning indiscriminately.
Premises of some companies are exposed to indiscriminate bush burning within the state. From Yanagwa, Friday, Ibmobowe Peter, Trust TV News, Yanagwa.
In other news, the governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, said his administration will end the lingering conflicts between farmers and herders in the state. He stated this during the inauguration of 3 committees at the State Government House chambers in Maiduguri. The committees include the reconstruction and resettlement of displaced persons from neighboring Bama local government area, another committee to investigate the root causes of farmers and herders crisis, and a committee on maintenance and the installation of streetlights across Maiduguri metropolis and Jere local government area. The governor charged the committees on farmers-herders conflict to identify cattle grazing routes and prefer solutions that will avert future reoccurrence.
We have no business in allowing our animals going to other states thereby, causing havoc to our neighboring states and arresting them and all such kind of things. And then the grazing reserves are also very important. We can document them and then ensure that people will do also ranching in the grazing reserves. But no state before them has the highest number of livestock in the country. But as a result of the insurgency, the numbers of our livestock have diminished. There is a need for us to now see how we regain our lost glory. So thank you very much and good.
We thank you most sincerely for finding us worthy for this assignment. And we want to assure you that we will put in our utmost best to achieve desired targets. Thank you very much, sir.
Staying in Borno State, Governor Babagana Zulum has distributed 100 million naira food items and wrappers to women and widows in the Damasak area of Mobara Local Government Area Council. The governor also distributed food palliatives to over 3,000 returnees from Niger Republic. Trust TV's Beatrice Kurusi has more on the story.
More than 20,000 of the women comprising widows, housewives and IDPs benefited from the 100 million naira cash and wrappers shared in Damasak community. The governor also visited Government Secondary School Damasak and Zanna Umar T Primary School for assessment, where he approved 10 units of housing estates for teachers and 50,000 naira cash support. He also directed the biometric data capture of civil servants in the state, stressing that the exercise should be concluded before the end of February.
I recently commented, provided others targeted to the banks. Women will identify 2 police stations. They'll bring PMS and subsidize the cost of PMS to the farmers so that they'll buy petrol, then use it in their generators so that they'll also irrigate their farmers. This is one. The second issue is that government will also procure solar water plants. In addition to this, we'll also install drip irrigation and sprinkler irrigation systems in this country. Why not? We have some initiatives to support the economy. We are also discussing with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture food security. Under the tinubu to see how we should push in the food especially
Meanwhile, the governor also distributed food palliatives to 3,847 returnees from Niger Republic. Governor Zulum said he has remained committed to improving the quality of lives of the citizens. Bitrus Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
From Borno to Jigawa, where the state government says it is partnering the Nigerian institutions of civil engineering to address housing challenges in Jigawa State. Governor Umar Namadi disclosed this when a national delegation from the Nigerian institutions of civil engineering paid him a courtesy visit in the state. The report.
The meeting primarily focused on addressing the escalating costs of building and construction materials in the country and exploring innovative solutions to substitute traditional materials. Governor Namadi, represented by his deputy, underscored the need for sustainable solutions to overcome challenges in the construction sector. The delegation emphasized their readiness to collaborate with the Jigawa state government and the nation at large to tackle the pressing issue of housing deficit to align with the demands of the country's burgeoning population. As part of the engagement, the NICE national delegation inaugurated the newly elected executive members of the association in the state.
The civil engineering engineers, like I can say, in Jigawa State, they have contributed tremendously here in Jigawa State. And you can see that we have been holding #1 on road network in Nigeria. To be sincere, they have tried and bring a lot of innovative things that improve the road network in Jigawa State here. He carried along almost all the engineers, not only the civil engineers, but almost all the engineers.
I want to commend the government for the quality of environment you're creating here, in spite of the difficulty in the terrain, which we know is not the best in terms of vegetation, but you've tried to create the best out of it. The quality of the roads, the infrastructure, the trees, the environment is highly commendable.
The partnership between the Jigawa state government and the Nigerian institutions of civil engineering is geared towards ensuring the delivery of quality infrastructure. This strategic alliance reflects a commitment to fostering sustainable solutions and addressing the housing deficit to enhance the overall living conditions for the people of Jigawa State and Nigeria as a whole.
Staying with developments in the housing sector, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has performed the groundbreaking ceremony of the 3,112 housing unit Renewed Hope City in Karsana, Abuja, restating his administration's commitment in providing decent and affordable housing for Nigerians. The project is part of 20,000 housing units to be delivered in the Federal Capital Territory under the public-private partnership arrangements being implemented by the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, and it represents the first practical expression of the Tinubu administration's desire to implement a new city development plan under the Renewed Hope agenda. State House correspondent Kehinde Amodu tells us more.
Renewed Hope cities are being developed in 3 locations: 1,500 housing units in Kano, 2,500 homes in Lagos, and 3,112 houses in Abuja under a variety of funding arrangements. Under this plan, integrated living communities that will redefine the essence of residential living for Nigerians will be built nationwide.
You have had the data from the Honorable Minister and his team, what they are about to do to turn the country to a large construction site for housing units. That's all I need to remind you. Standing before you as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The President is urging Nigerians to be faithful to the ideals of uplifting the country, and is pledging in turn to ensure the prosperity of all citizens.
Every one of us love victory. We love to win. When you are positive and you are hopeful, Nigeria is winning. We did say it will be Eldorado, smooth all the way through, but we are confident that this country will excel in all ramifications and areas.
The project will also provide a practical demonstration of cross-subsidization, where out of the 1,500 units to be funded by the Federal Bank of Nigeria,
here represented
will be sold
Senate Committee on Housing,
to low and medium
Senators.
Under this concept of cross-subsidy, the housing unit built in the renewed hub cities will be sold at commercial rate, while substantial percentage will be sold at concessionary rates to low and medium income earners who are members of the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress.
I commend the Minister of Housing and Urban Development and his team and the consortium for this concept. Rest assured that the National Assembly is going to give you, and through them, all the support that is required for these programs and all of the housing programs in Nigeria to succeed.
The Tinubu administration believes shelter can be a catalyst for inclusive economic growth and has classified housing as essential social infrastructure that will facilitate economic growth and job creation. From the Katsina District, Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
To Kano now, where the State Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission says it has activated its intelligence mechanism on traders holding essential commodities with a view to addressing rising inflation in the state. Chairman of the commission, Muyi Magaji, told newsmen on Thursday that the commission is ready to act against traders holding essential food items with the aim of exploiting the prevailing economic condition or situation in Nigeria.
So the commission now ignites its intelligence mechanism so that we'll be able to identify the areas where holding has taken place. And I want to use this opportunity to call on the traders that holding is a crime under the laws of Kano State and under the laws of Nigeria. Because if you take Price Control Act, it's an act of general application and it has prohibited holding of essential commodities. The question that if we find properties or essential commodities being held, we have many options. One of the options is to lock down the store, seize the property, and take the matter to court. And the court in its wisdom will tell us what to do with the properties. And at least that one is a setback to the order, because we have confiscated.
Residents of Yenagoa, the Bayelsa State capital, have expressed their dissatisfaction with the surge in the price of sachet water, popularly known as pure water. Now, the price increase of the everyday product is compounding the already difficult economic situation faced by residents. Friday, Ebimobowe Peter tells us more.
The packaged water, popularly known as pure water, which was sold at a rate of 250 naira, has suddenly increased to 500 naira per bag in Yanagwa. Residents say they are surprised at the increase. They, however, call on the federal and state government to come to their aid.
2019, 2020, one sachet of water was sold at the rate of 5 naira. In Assam, then even 2023 too, one sachet of pure water was sold at the rate of 10 naira. But suddenly, 2024, in this January, as consumers, we are surprised to see that the bag of sachet of water is now 400 naira.
I have 7 children. When they come from school now, you know the children now, they go play small like this, they don't go pick one water. Small and as come, this water no be like that before again. No. One pure water now, 30 naira. I even wonder yesterday when I come go market, they say one pure water 50 naira. What's happen? And the way we they take get money, increase again. Why our water can't they increase? Now water don't dry for this life, not be for grand the water they come up. What made the water they cost? See, they won't kill us. I beg government, make them try find something do for this, especially this water matter.
Also speaking, some concerned citizens said ordinarily Bayelsans are not supposed to be suffering from potable drinking water because the state water board under the Ministry of Water Resources has failed in its duty. They, however, call on the state government to come up with policies to regulate the market price.
Those of us that are dwelling in Bayelsa State begin to buy water at the rate of 450 per bag. Is alarming. See, there are times government come into issues and control market price, and that is what we are calling on him. Look into the area of water. Water is a necessity and is one of the basic amenities that we needed for, and that is one of the things we voted for.
The person procedures for government to ensure that the budget provisions are utilized. Government is a building block. And if every year monies are made available for the water Ministry of Water Resources and the monies are utilized adequately, then we would have gradually would have made a laudable landmark. But for the fact that the monies are not used judiciously, we have not seen the kind of contribution in Bayelsa State.
The sudden increase in sachet water is not only affecting Bayelsa State but also the neighboring state. From Yanagwa, Friday, Ebimobowe Peter. Trust TV News, Yanagwa.
Time now to bring you up to speed with the latest in business. Here's Yusuf Akogu with today's update.
Welcome to Business News. I am Yusuf Akogu. Nigeria's condensate output is set to increase by 14,000 barrels per day following the coming on stream of Akpo West field belonging to Total Energies. A statement by Total Energies and its partners said by mid-2024, Akpo West will add 14,000 barrels of condensate production per day to be followed by 14 million cubic meters of gas per day by 2028. The statement further stressed that Akpo West development leverages the existing facilities to keep costs low and minimize greenhouse gas emissions. Already, Nigeria can produce between 300,000 and 400,000 barrels of condensate, a large growth that attracts high demand in the global market. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited said the decisions to move some of the company's revenues to CBN is timely. The GC of NNPCL, Mele Kyari, stated this while receiving the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Cardoso, at the company's headquarters in Abuja. According to him, the obligations and transaction of NNPCL is so high to be left with the agency alone. On his part, the CBN Governor Olayemi Cardoso said the Apex Bank is looking forward to a robust relationship with NNPCL.
We are the largest business in this country, and we're also happy that the CBN has created very, very robust digital platform for our transactions, and also created a department that will deal with NNPC issues, and it will create no hindrance to our operation. We will continue to collaborate with the Central Bank of Nigeria to ensure that further improvements are received to ensure that this relationship serves the best interests of our company and, of course, ultimately our country.
The NNPC has made the decision to move its respectable part of its business to the Central Bank of Nigeria. And I also want to say that we have restructured and strengthened our internal processes such that we will be very capable of taking on this enormous responsibility that will be placed in the central bank.
Nigeria's billionaire Aliko Dangote said he will list his refinery and fertilizer companies on the Nigeria Exchange Limited under Dangote Industry Group Limited. Group chairman of NGS Group, Umaru Kwairanga, said the president of Dangote have assured NGS that Dangote Refinery is going to be listed on the market very soon. Dangote Cement shares have performed all other equities this year with a return of about 138.5%. Rising prices of food items continue to affect Nigerians. A major worry is the rising cost of staple food. Let's see the price of commodities as it's going down. Today, of course, we'll look at the onions. About 100 kg of onions at Bodija Market in Oyo State is going for 60,000 naira. That is a very huge amount. Yam flour, that is talking about the big bag at Igbudu Market in Delta State, South Nigeria, is about 69,000 naira. Indeed, a very huge one there. You will see, of course, noodles, that is carton of Indomie, the regular consumables by children, especially in Nigeria. At my 12 market in Lagos is actually going for 7,000 naira. If you are buying 70 gram by 40 pieces in need, is going for 7,000 naira. Powdered milk as well, talking about peak milk at Agege Market, also in Lagos, is about 23,500 naira for a carton. And if you go down to northwest Nigeria, Kano State, at the Rimi Market specifically, a Bonvita, 900 gram of Bonvita there is going for 4,200. And of course, spaghetti as well at the Central Market in Kaduna State is going for 14,200 naira. And Nescafe 3-in-1, the popular early morning drink by Nigerian, 25 gram by 10 is now being sold at 1,300 naira at Afo Ugbe Market in Imo State, that is southeast Nigeria. From food commodities, we move quickly to the stock market. Of course, trading on the floor of NGS on Thursday closing red on the back of waning investors' enthusiasm. Today's performance reflects a caution market sentiment. Indeed, NASCON down 10%, Unity Bank down as well 10%, and of course, Conhop PLC also down 10% as well. And this has dragged the market down by 0.86% at the market. The all share index down there 101,183.69 basis point. Volume of trade not so high, 474.345 million volume of shares there, value at 7.035 billion, and of course the deals we had today 10,773 indeed happen on the floor as well. Looking at the top trading equities, we have the like of Universal Insurance there doing 42.766 million shares, Transcorp 41.535 million shares, and of course Zenith Bank as well 31.746 million volume of the shares were traded. Of course, we have some losers despite the negative performance of the market, like of Maya there gaining 9.97%. Julie, they've been there for a while, 9.52%, and of course Tantalizer gaining 4.76%. So the highlight of the stock trading as it went down on this Thursday on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Let's look at the stock market in Africa and indeed the rest of the world. Finally, in business, oil prices gained ground on Thursday as investors consider the impact of Israel's rejection of a ceasefire from Hamas and unexpected drops in the U.S. fuel stock. At the London market, Brent crude sell for $80 per barrel. For the oil basket, price steadies at $78 per barrel. And that's business. I am Yusuf Akogu.
All right, let's take a look at developments now on the international scene as bodies of 13 Sudanese migrants have been recovered and 27 others remain missing after a boat sank on Wednesday off the coast of Tunisia. According to a Tunisian judicial officer, Justice Farid Benja, the boat, which set off from Sfax, was carrying 42 people, all of them Sudanese, adding that 2 people were rescued. Tunisia replaced Libya as North Africa's main departure point for people fleeing poverty and conflict elsewhere in Africa and across the Middle East in the hope of a better life in Europe. The country has seen a record wave of migrants since last year, with frequent catastrophes involving boats sinking off its coast as they carry migrants from sub-Saharan Africa hoping to reach Italy. In 2023, the Tunisian Coast Guard recovered the bodies of nearly 1,000 migrants drowned off its coast, according to Tunisian officials. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres addressed the United Nations General Assembly on Wednesday, highlighting the dire situation faced by millions trapped in conflicts worldwide. He emphasized the urgent need for peace, stressing that record numbers of people are fleeing their homes in search of safety. Guterres expressed particular concern about the Israeli-Hamas conflict, warning against further escalation and the potential humanitarian catastrophe in Rafah. He also mentioned other global hotspots in Ukraine, Africa, and Asia.
For millions of people caught up in conflict around the world, life is a deadly, daily, hungry hell. Record numbers are fleeing their homes in search of safety, and they are crying out for peace, and we must hear them and act. In the immediate term, we must continue to push for peace across the globe. The situation in Gaza is a festering wound on our collective conscience that threatens the entire region. The fighting must stop in Sudan before it destroys even more lives and spreads. And in Libya, while a ceasefire holds, the Libyan people deserve sustained peace and stability, starting with a commitment to free and fair elections. In Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, I call on all armed groups to lay down their weapons, and I urge regional leaders to prioritize dialogue over conflict. In Yemen, I appeal to all parties to focus on the path to peace and also to de-escalate tensions in the Red Sea based on the principle of freedom of navigation.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres there on developments across the globe that is causing humanitarian challenges. Now, to some sports stories. The victory of the Nigeria Super Eagles against Bafana Bafana of South Africa continues to generate reactions from Nigerians both at home and abroad. In Imo State, southeast Nigeria, residents are saying the victory is a source of joy which has provided some relief and escape for Nigerians from the prevailing economic challenges faced by millions across the country. Ajibade Praise has more.
It is no doubt that football has a way of uniting Nigerians, especially when the country's national team is playing. The victory against South Africa is one of such moments, and every citizen of the country are glad over the outcome. According to them, the victory gave them a reason to rejoice despite the present predicament they face as a result of economic hardship in the country.
But I know that with the squad Nigeria have put in place, especially from our defense and the front, that's that of Osime, Simon and Lukman, and I believe that Nigeria will put up a surprise. So I'm optimistic, very, very optimistic that Nigeria will win.
It was an awesome victory yesterday. Though the first half we had somehow discouraged because our midfielder was somehow porous. But in the second half, when the coach did some substitution and we get back into the game, and the game went very well.
Speaking further, they expressed confidence that Nigeria will lift the trophy while urging the team to continue with the spirit of patriotism and unity.
They should be focused. I want them to be focused. It is not yet over until they lay their hands on that trophy. Until William Truss Ekon or Ahmed Musa lift that trophy. Until they shouldn't relax. They shouldn't underrate the Ivorians.
Yes, Nigeria will win because God of War is not a threat to Nigeria. We have done it before and we're still going to do it again.
And my advice is that they've been playing the game as a team. They should continue in that unity. Whoever has scored, the glory comes back to Nigeria. Let them work as a team and ensure that they come back with the trophy.
While they await the finals on Sunday, when Nigeria will face Ivory Coast, the host country, the people are hopeful that the Super Eagles will again give them yet another bigger reasons to smile. Ajibade Praise, Trust TV News, Owerri.
Well, let's get you some more sports update now and join Adeni Ajishafi, who has all the update.
Joy Eze rounded off a solid performance for Team Nigeria weightlifters at the just concluded Egypt 2024 African Senior Weightlifting Championship, winning all 3 gold medals available in the 71 kg women's category on Wednesday in Ismailia, Egypt. A 3 gold rush made it 11 medals for Team Nigeria, comprising 6 gold and 5 silver medals, to surpass last year's performance in Tunisia. Eze lifted 104 kg in the snatch to win gold and added another gold in the clean and jerk with a lift of 130 kg. The weightlifter made it a clean sweep with the 3rd gold with a total lift of 234 kg. Eze's 3 gold medal has moved her up to the top 12 in the Olympic qualification ranking in her weight class. Only top 10 will make it to the Olympic Games in Paris, France. Nigeria's contingent, made up of 4 weightlifters and 4 officials with 3 coaches, will arrive Nigeria on Thursday. Nigerians weightlifters will participate in another Olympic Games qualifier in March, when the International Weightlifting Federation (IWF) World Cup holds from March 31st to April 11th in Phuket, Thailand, the last qualifier before the Olympic Games. The list of athletes that qualify for 2024 Paris Games will be made public through the IWF World Rankings after the tournament. And in football, the federal government has promised to reward the Super Eagles for their commitment and dedication in reaching the final of the ongoing African Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire. Vice President Kashim Shettima addressed the players and officials in the dressing room following their hard-fought victory over South Africa in the semi-final on Wednesday, saying the government and people of Nigeria are proud of them. The VP was accompanied by Governors Dapo Abiodun of Ogun and Doye Diri of Bayelsa, Minister of Youth Jamila Ibrahim, Oil Mogul Wale Tinubu, FIFA Council member Amaju Pinnick, and NFL President Ibrahim Kuso. Nigeria defeated South Africa 4-2 on penalties to advance to the final after a pulsating 1-1 draw in regulation and extra time. Host nation Cote d'Ivoire in the final of AFCON 2023 at the 6,000 capacity Stade Olympique Alassane Ouattara in Ebimpe outside Abidjan. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
That victory against South Africa sure feels like the climax of the tournament already. Well, that is it on the News Hour tonight. Thank you most kindly for joining us. As always, we encourage you to follow us across our social media platforms to find more content. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Thank you for your time and good night.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.